How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Neimology Science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharón Lynn Wyeth created Neimology Science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
Welcome to the Imagine More Success radio show. Thanks for joining us today. We're so happy to have you here. I'm your host, Thomas Hides. I'm with Cindy Hendricks, who's the co-host and the amazing creator of this entire shebang.
So that's what this is.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
And I'll bet that's in the dictionary, too, with all those other weird words of today.
Yeah, probably. You know, the nice thing is we're actually going to have the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit more about the embryonic stage of the show. We're going to have one of the people who was very instrumental in helping us create the Imagine More Success radio show, moving it from a podcast to a radio show. And that's Sharón Lynn Wyeth, who has her own show as well. And we're going to get a chance to talk to her today a little bit later in the second and third segment. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I love Sharon. She is so intelligent about so many interesting things. And you listeners are going to absolutely love what she's going to share with you today, because it opens this whole new window of knowledge. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all that new knowledge?
Yeah, she's a real creator of both art and science and blending the two. And it's very fascinating. We're going to have a fascinating interview with her today and really bring some really cool value, as well as some kind of fun entertainment and entertaining stories that she has to share with us today as well. Cindy, that kind of leads me to a question that actually came up for me earlier this week. And also, oddly enough, it was an article this morning in the Forbes magazine, and the question really is success purely financial?
Oh boy, do I have some thoughts on that one.
So I'd love for you just answer the question for me. In your own words, is success purely financial?
It is absolutely not purely financial, because I know many, many millionaires that have so much money, they don't even know what to do with all of it, and they are not happy. In fact, I was on vacation in Oregon a few years ago with two friends. Three couples were there, and two of the three couples are millionaires, and they buy whatever they want, but when they want it, and they are so into saving money on every other thing that they have. But I just don't see the happiness level that somebody who has that amount of finance in their world that there should be. And my favorite Earl Nightingale, and I've said this before, has a quote or one of his, I think it's one of his audios I've listened to that says, the guy living on the park bench is happy and successful because that's exactly what he wants to be doing.
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, that's the whole take on success is if it's what you want to be doing and it makes you happy, then it doesn't matter how much money you're making at it. It's success for you.
Well, it's very interesting because I think that very often we hear the term success and happiness, when not applied to finances, being almost interchangeable. And that's a concept we've talked about before.
It is. And the biggest thing is that having success in your finance area is that you get to buy bigger, more expensive toys.
And if it also helps you help the people that are close to you, that are important to you, and it lets you have the opportunity to create things sometimes that are bigger and maybe even better than what you could have if you did not have the finances in order to do that.
Well, and there's also the philanthropy thing. I mean, all of us, I think, would like to be able to give back and help. And if you have high income, then that would definitely be something that could be considered. But in our Find Hidden Money courses, we talk about the big five of life. And, of course, money's one of them, but the other things are health and love and spirituality and career. And I think that all those components have to have a level of success in order to be a happy, grounded, well-rounded person, don't you?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I had an old voice teacher, Mark Aliopoulos from Boston University, who used to talk about not having a zero in any one category, because he said if you have a zero in any one category, if you multiply everything else by zero, you get zero. So it's important to have something in every single category, to have something that is supportive of each individual category. When we're talking about the big five of life, definitely having something in each one of those five segments is really important.
Well, and the kicker is if you don't have one in particular, doesn't matter how much money that you have because you can't take it with you.
Well, something else I've heard recently, and I kind of laughed when I heard it because it ties in very closely to a phrase that kind of works with it very well, is the idea that money isn't the only thing that matters, but it's the one thing that's measured. It's a very simple thing to measure. To figure out someone's net worth is very simple. Therefore, it's really easy to measure. Therefore, it's really easy to equate that to your success. If you have less money, you're less successful. More.
I don't know about that, Thomas. I asked my husband last week on a 1 to 10 scale how happy was he, and he said 10.
Absolutely.
So love can be measured.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I guess it doesn't often get measured. And maybe that's the difference.
Well, here's the secret. You have to ask the question.
Yes, absolutely. You're right.
And I'm sure Sharon, our guest today, can tell why that my husband Harvey has been, such a perfect husband for me and vice versa.
Yeah, Sharon's work that she does is based around a science which she created called Neimology, which gives you the opportunity to learn about someone before you even meet them by knowing their name. Because there's a code which she has uncoded, which she's broken, which actually shows personality traits, business traits, life traits, and you can learn everything you need to know about a person just based upon their name. And it's really fascinating.
Isn't that fascinating? I find it so too. And with Sharon, I'm sure 100% certain that she can go through our big five of life and tell everyone how she can determine, what could be success factors for you. And I'm sure it's probably somewhere in one of her many books. So I'm looking forward to finding that out from her.
Yes. And when it comes to what I was talking about earlier, also the idea of measuring, when you have a part of your life that you are taking measurements of, when you're sitting down and you are trying to find out if it's more or less than it was in the past, and are you in fact moving in the proper direction, that's when you're moving towards mastery. Because there's an old saying, actually Craig Valentine is the person I heard it from. The old saying is, what gets measured gets mastered.
Yes, and I can tell you for 100% certainty also that your health can be measured. All you have to do is go get your blood work done or step on the scale.
I know. I don't know which one is scarier sometimes.
I know. Maybe that's an equal, right?
Could be. Absolutely could be.
Yes, and I think the one that might be a little challenging would maybe be spirituality, because that one would be a real tough one to measure, depending, of course, on, what it is that moves you in that arena. But maybe, thinking about that, maybe integrity would be a good measuring stick for that one.
I do. I think integrity, maybe also calmness, lack of anxiety, assuredness. There's probably a lot of adjectives that are associated with having a positive spiritual experience, and also putting some numbers in that category, not having a zero there. And I know that we have some guests who are lined up in the future who are going to be speaking to that very topic. And it's actually a fascinating topic because just like there's so many varying opinions, whether it's about health or career or love or money, spirituality has many varying opinions as well. And so there's a lot of information out there, and you get to choose based upon what's important to you.
And I believe in many cultures, there's a shift in spirituality. I know in the U.S., I'm really feeling that one. And, that's one of the topics that we really shouldn't be talking about, but here we go.
There's no topic off limits here. None. We can talk about anything.
I don't know. We were talking in our last conversation, Thomas, about one that probably should have been.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. But
that would be another show.
That might be on this show as well. One never knows. The other thing that I'm really enjoying about talking to Sharón about today is the idea of blending art and science, and how important it is to bring those two together, because one has a tendency to move forward when you bring the other one into it, because it's really about utilizing both sides of your brain. And when we talked to Sharón today, we kind of realized that the science that she's created really required both sides of the brain in order to create, because she has a mathematics background and she's highly skilled there. And she also brought her own creativity into it. And by pulling those two things together, she's created something which is really fascinating and outstanding. And in your own life, that's probably something that you can look at. If you look at art and science, the sliding scale, maybe there's a place in your life where you can add a little more art, and maybe there's a part of your life you can add a little more science if you want to get better results or bigger results, or if you want to imagine more success.
Well, I could not have said that better, Thomas, because you know me and energy, and that's really about the science today.
Yes.
The energy and everything, and that just is one more thing, that there's energy in a name.
Absolutely. And then one of our future guests will be on to talk to us about that. But if you will stick around in just a few moments, we're going to be hearing from Sharón Lynn Wyeth from knowthename.com, where we're going to learn all about how you can know the name of a person, and therefore you can know the person. So do stick around, because when we come back, we're going to hear from her, and you're going to learn all about the fantastic science of Neimology on the Imagine More Success radio show. So please stay with us. How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals, so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show. We are so very fortunate to have a very special guest today, Sharón Lynn Wyeth, who has survived some tornadoes in the Midwest and is here to join us today. Sharón, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Did you know that there's tornadoes more than in the Midwest? There's tornadoes that can just smack us from anywhere in our life, things that come out of nowhere just as often as a tornado does.
Wow.
Yeah, but nobody as much as Oklahoma.
I don't know, Kansas and Missouri, that, when I was there was a little bit scary, to say it mildly.
Well, it may be Kansas. It's one of those two states that has the most in the nation. And I grew up in the Midwest where tornadoes are to be feared.
Well, I guess almost every area of our United States has something, but I really think it's a great soliloquy for what happens in people's lives. You can be going around ever so smoothly, and then out of nowhere, like a tornado of a life instance can hit you, and then you get swept up in it, and then you get off your own path.
Exactly. But see, in California where I live, our earthquakes are over in 60 seconds, so you're either here or not, and then you don't have to worry about the storm.
And they're unexpected as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well,
unless you
Sharón,
have a good cat. If you have a cat, then you know when they're coming.
I remember literally visiting out in California, and I was sitting down, and an earthquake came through, and I had both of my babies at that time with me, and all I could think of was, my husband's going to kill me because here I'm going to damage the kids somehow. And then I thought, oh yeah, I'll be dead too, so it won't matter.
Well, we're so glad that you're here today, and we're really excited to get to talk to you today about an entire science that you've created called Neimology. Sharón, I've had a chance to take a look at your book and have some really cool, I guess you could say, confirmation of how well this science works when it comes to your explanation of my name and how it associates with so many people in my life. Sharón, tell us a little bit about how you created Neimology and what it is.
It's the study of the placement of the letters in a name and how they interact with the letters sitting next to them to reveal how someone thinks, behaves, and feels. And it's simply patterns. Now, more and more, all of our websites and all of medicine and everything is going toward vibrational medicine and how important vibration is. And so, in essence, what I did was match the vibration of that letter with the corresponding behavior and feelings that go with it. And it took me 15 years. And then I went and tested it in over 70 countries for the following 3 years. So altogether, 18 years to develop. And then I keep seeing new patterns even as we're going along. So first it was all about the personality. And then it was like, what's the sole purpose? Why are we here? So then that got developed. And then right now I'm working on the health connections. Like what patterns go with which health issues? Because I really feel like that's hidden in our names also. I would say that our names are our contract that we have, and it gives us our timing and where our focus is and what we're here to learn and who we're here to be.
Wow, that's
Fascinating.
fascinating. That's incredible. And the idea that a science can be created in as short a period as 18 years is actually incredible, because when you take a look at how long it takes to build theories and to confirm them, and then to take a science from just hypothesis into something much more factual, I mean, that's really incredible.
Well, I'd like to throw in there that Sharon is highly intuitive, and I'm certain that that has to be a factor.
Well, I've meditated ever since I was 18. And so I would get woken up at 4 in the morning, and ideas would be through my head that were, have you thought about this? Have you considered that? And so I would get up and work from 4 to 5 every morning with what I was getting that was very clear to me that was coming through during the night. So you're right. Intuition helped tremendously.
Well,
Wow.
and I really think that what you told me before about choosing your name, because many of us have a nickname and not are not using the name we were given at birth, and how that plays into it too.
So our birth name is our contract for this lifetime. And then how we go about accomplishing that contract is hidden in the name that we're going by. So, for example, your birth name could say, I need to get from Los Angeles to New York. But how you go about it, if you start off walking, you may want to change your name and say, hey, I'm going to hitchhike instead, or I'm going to get on that bus or that train. But what's really cool is in your name, hidden in there, is the ticket to the airplane to get there really quickly.
Wow. So you go from like the name Walker to Jetstream, and that becomes your that becomes a whole different vehicle to get from one
Exactly.
place to the other. Yeah. Wow. Maybe
And
some.
if you're hitchhiking, that other name might get you a quicker ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know about the price you'd have to pay.
Exactly today, for sure.
Sharon, you spend a lot of your time not just creating success in your own life, but also helping other people really generate success in their life based upon the work that you do with them. Take a moment and tell us a little bit about how you do that.
Well, it depends on what they're asking for. Like for different businesses, HR companies and businesses, I assist them when it comes to what their job description is and what the applicant pool is and who to spend time interviewing and who their likely top candidate is. And, I rank them. And then if two individuals are not getting along in a company, often the HR people will call me and say, we want to keep both of them. How do we get them to work together? Because all of that is apparent in the name. And then the one that always cracks me up is when somebody calls and says, okay, their yearly review's coming along, and what should I tell them? And it cracks me up because I think you've worked with them all year and you don't have
You
an
don't
idea.
know? Are you not paying attention?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the answer to that because I've spent a career managing people, and every manager, it's a death sentence to tell them that they have to write evaluations. They just hate it.
Well, what I like to do is, first of all, I look in that employee's name and see what are they here to learn. And then I see how does that help the company. And then if you can say, literally, the company's going in this direction, and we would like you to help us get in that direction, and this is how to go about it. So they're actually having to learn some of the things that their name indicates they've come to learn, and they're going in the direction of the company. I really think that yearly evaluations, unless somebody's getting ready to be fired, but as long as they're an average employee or better, they should not be critical of the person at all. Instead, it would be, this is where the company's going, and this is how we would like you to help and use
Yes.
your talents.
And that's a big part of management techniques also, right? Is that idea that the person who is a worker very often wants to do the very best job that they can do because it's important to their self-esteem, and it's important to being who they want to be. And often when there is a failure, it is literally a system which is failing, not necessarily the actual person that's failing. So when you look at it from that light, you have an opportunity to make corrections without going through the massive process of hiring and firing and retraining and spending time and resources on that very expensive venture.
Well, I just look at it that no one takes criticism well, and I can understand when they need to say some direction that needs to be improved, and they call me and say, "How do we tell this person in a way that they can hear it without being insulted?" Now, I love those because they're like big puzzles. I just love those. But on the other hand, I look at it, I think as long as they're an average employee or better, you want to build their self-esteem. And so many times that yearly review tears them down. And then they start holding resentments and then they don't want to do as well. And instead of doing that, we have an opportunity at every yearly review to build them up, to thank them for their service and their loyalty, and then to get them on board for where we want to go next.
Well, truly, the evaluation of anyone begins with the person that's managing them. Because if they're given proper goals and they're given the training to achieve the goals and they're being helped with their roadblocks, there isn't a reason why they're not going to achieve them. So what I have seen in my experience is that it's the manager who needs to have some direction on how to manage better in order to turn out staff that's going to achieve the goals. So I would look at the names of the managers and find out why they're not doing their job.
Well, that's only if I'm invited.
Yeah, I guess the finger pointing starts during the hiring process when they're hiring you.
Well, but if the company owner asks you to come in and look, I would start looking at management, because in managing big groups, that's where I always started, because if the manager's not managing, the staff is not going to perform at the level that they should be.
I had one company that's very, very large give me their flow chart and literally said, "Where are our problems?" They didn't tell me anything, but here is the flow chart. Where are our problems? So I looked at the names of who was working with whom. And I said, okay, we've got some conflicts going on in a few places. And I said, and then you've got two people that are literally in the wrong division. Their name says their gifts should really be utilized over there. And it was so funny because the owner of the company said, "Boy, you've really nailed us. And it's nice to know that these two would be better off elsewhere." And then they did some realigning and some sorting. And, I love working with that company because they listen clearly to the input. And then they see what can they do, because we want our workplace to be the best for everybody that we have employed. And they very rarely lose anybody.
What an amazing story. What a great, Cindy, that's awesome, right?
And I'll bet their bottom line is amazing too, because when you get all the components going in the right direction and you have someone as talented as Sharón helping guide you, my gosh, sky's the limit.
So when we come back in just a moment, we're going to hear more from Sharón Lynn Wyeth, the creator of Neimology Science, and the owner of the KnowTheName.com. You definitely want to listen in, because in the next segment, we're going to hear even more fascinating information about Neimology as a science and what it can do for you. So please stick around with us on the Imagine More Success radio show, and we will be back in just a moment. How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Yeah, we are in the place to be.
And you are back on the Imagine More Success radio show with Cindy and Thomas. We are so happy that you're back with us. We've been talking to Sharón Lynn Wyeth and having a really fun time talking with her today. She is the creator of Neimology Science, which is the study of the placement of letters in a name. And after her 15 years of research, followed by 3 years of testing her theories in over 70 countries, including Russia, India, and China, she's come up with this incredibly accurate name-based science. Sharón, welcome back.
It is so interesting to be here with Cindy and you, Thomas. You asked earlier in the first segment, how do we blend art and science and get this going? And it's kind of like saying, how do you blend your gut knowingness with your brain? Or how do you blend the heart with the head?
Yes.
It's a similar thing. You start with what the patterns are. And patterns are simply, you can find the patterns. There's so many patterns in nature. So you're starting with what the patterns are. And that's what I was looking for first in the names. And then you start with gut feelings like, wow, I've seen a lot of people that have this combination do this. I wonder if that's a match or not. And then you start testing.
I love that. Do you feel like there's a lot of science that operates in that very same way?
Yes, because they've shown now that the scientists' beliefs actually affect the result of the science experiments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always shocked when I see videos of scientists explain what it is that they're doing. And then if you take a look at how they actually go about the experiments, sometimes it's just blatantly obvious how they're coming up with the final understanding of what it is they're testing based solely upon how they went about asking the question. Of course, they're going to end up with the answer that they originally thought that they would get.
Well, that's kind of like the statistics class that they give us in college when you're a math major.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how you set up your ranges and how you're setting up the problem, you can literally make stats say anything you want them to.
And that's why
Yes.
they're always changing their minds about everything in the world, that it's good for you, it's not good for you, because it depends on who's doing the testing.
It depends on how much money is involved and who's paying.
Yeah, and who's sliding money over whose hand.
That's what it really depends on.
And let's talk about tell us a little bit about how that kind of blend of art and science can improve someone's life. Let's speak directly to the listener and let them know how that can make a huge change.
Well, if you can read someone's name, and you can do that either by reading the book, know the name, and know the person, or by taking a class, or by getting the kit and teaching yourself off of the kit, if you're more of an audio learner than a hands-on person. Well, once you know what the name says, then when somebody's saying something, you can see where they're coming from, and therefore the heart comes in, or the art comes in on how to respond to that. And you're not going to take it personally, because you can see, oh yeah, that's that part of their name. Of course they feel that way, or they are that way. And then you come back because of it. Like I was just doing a class this weekend, and it was in an area where, to me, they have a really thick accent. But of course, to them, I'm the one with the accent.
Absolutely. I get that all the time.
And every once in a while, one of them would look at me and go, I hear you, but I can't understand you. You're pronouncing your words funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, periodically I needed to check in with her and say, okay, did we get it? Or do we need somebody else that's in this audience to recap this for you so that you're making sure you heard it as I meant it?
That's really fascinating. So does that come into play when it comes to, um, I guess, performing the Neimology Science on an actual name? Like, is the way that the person pronouncing it affecting the way that their life is created?
If they always pronounce all the A's the same and all the E's the same and everything, the answer is absolutely no. But
Oh,
it's when there's a brand new sound that shoots out of nowhere, that's when you also interpret the sound. For an example, in the name Zeta, or Xena, it's Xena. You do not hear a Z at all, but it's Xena when you're saying it. So then
yes.
you've got to interpret both the X and the Z.
Oh,
But
fascinating.
okay, but if you always say a C like a soft S or a
Mhm.
hard K, then you're not going to do that because that's normal for you.
Okay, makes perfect sense. When you do a reading for an individual, what's their kind of reaction to the reading when they hear about their own name?
Well, most of the time, people are saying OMG. I get the most lovely notes afterwards. And they're going, I'm afraid to tell you anybody else's name, you know, too many secrets revealed. But I get these lovely notes that in over half the readings I do that say, OMG, you are changing lives. And I say, no, Neimology Science is changing lives because it's clarifying and supporting you in what you knew in your heart you always wanted.
Mm, that's really powerful. That's really powerful because in the work that Cindy and I do together, we ask the question very often, what do you really want? What is it that you really want? And that's a question I still find myself asking myself, and I use that as a way of determining what's really important and spending time on what's really important. Does
Now,
that come into
Thomas,
your work
we
too?
all know in your name it just means money.
That can't be true.
I'm just teasing.
I
I'm
know,
teasing.
that's so funny.
Uh, it's philanthropy. In your name, it's actually philanthropy.
Oh, fascinating. I did
And
not know.
enable to do philanthropy, you've got to have the money first.
Yes.
Yes, that is very true.
Well, and since you made the comment about patterns and such, I was going through some names of people that were not the best of friends, and I found a pattern, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is so interesting.
Well, and the only downside to that is we have then a tendency, once we've identified those patterns that we don't work well with, or that those people don't work well with us, we have a tendency to want to avoid all people that have that pattern before we give them a chance. And I have found that there's a few patterns that when I look at that in somebody's name, I go, okay, I'm getting out of here as fast as I can, as politely as I can, but I'm moving right along. And so I've switched that around lately to let me see if I can't figure out a way to work with that pattern better.
Ah, yes. I
Well,
think
I'm
that's
not so sure
great.
the ones I've identified, I wouldn't have any interest in that.
Well, neither do I, but I'm going against that, saying that I know that we're all of one spirit, and I know that, and in my belief system, each one of us is absolutely important because I don't believe that our creator made any mistakes. So when I'm looking at certain patterns anymore, before it was like so much easier just to avoid these ones with this pattern.
Mhm.
And now I'm looking at it and saying, what can I do to rise above that and learn to work with this pattern better, even though I know that things that they'll do because of that pattern push all of my buttons and even buttons I didn't even know I had.
It's really interesting. That actually, I guess, really ties into compassion and empathy and a willingness to work with others. I mean, that's actually a very big ask, when it comes to dealing with people that you really would rather not deal with, and it's a real challenge, and really tests the mettle of you as a human being when you take on that task.
Well, I think it's the heads up that's really good because then you're aware. It's when those kinds of negative things happen and you have no notice or no awareness that kind of
Yeah, just
puts you
like the
on a spin.
tornado.
Yeah, it takes you for a spin.
Just like that tornado without the radio telling you, hey, guess what's coming, guys? The big tornado.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I want to make sure that people also know where to find you at knowthename.com. where you can find Sharon's book, Know the Name, Know the Person. She also has an amazing selection of services where you can actually do a private name reading, or you can help you choose your own business name if you're starting out a new business, because a name can mean so much and it can give you such a powerful jump on the market. And you can also get Neimology Science certified, because she has a collection of courses that you can study. So there's so many things to check out. Do check out our website, knowthename.com. And Sharon, you also have a fantastic radio show as well.
Yeah, it's right here on the X Zone radio station. And that's because we have the best producer ever. And so it's called
Agreed.
Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. And I interview people that I have just met an incredible number of people, and many of them have been previous clients, or, sometimes that's how I meet them. But I only have people on the air that I've met and that I've vetted, because I want the very top quality on what they're doing for the world, how finding them their own genius as what's in their name, and what are they doing with those gifts and talents that are actually helping everybody else. And then we always say at the end, what combinations it has been in their name that has helped them, so that if the listeners have those combinations, they can get ideas on what they can do also.
That's really beautiful.
So how do they find your show? Do you have a website you can send them to?
knowthename.com/schedule. And then all they have to do is look on Thursday. There's a tab that says X Zone Radio Show, and they can just click on it.
That's fantastic. Sharon, it was just really wonderful to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. We're looking forward to actually being on your show at some point in the future.
Yes, happy.
Yeah,
Happy to do
absolutely.
That. Just like I've had Cindy on before.
Absolutely.
Happy to do that.
Sharon, what a pleasure to have you here today. Please check out her information at knowthename.com so you can learn how to communicate in a language that other people understand and that they perceive correctly, and gives you a chance to learn how a person indicates their love for each other and what type of actions that you can use to create a beautiful relationship with the people in your life. Do stick around with us, because we're going to be back in just a moment on the Imagine More Success radio show, where we're going to do a little wrap up and do a little more conversation around knowing the name and knowing the person. Please stay tuned.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
The ability to access the knowledge of the universe is much easier for us to access than we may believe. Brad Johnson, conscious matrix communicator, is one of these unique individuals who is able to access a strong connection to the universal mind. Through his connection, Brad has assisted thousands of clients from all over the world through natural intuitive assistance. The intuitive information received is vast, covering a wide range of subjects. Brad's innate ability includes being able to access one's own universal matrix to help them realize their potential to create a life of profound greatness. One-on-one private sessions with Brad Johnson are available to anyone from around the world. Brad is also a proficiently trained psychic, Akashic Records reader, an online spiritual teacher, founder of his own unique and powerful healing system, Body Regeneration Healing, as well as a professional conscious channeler in communication with his own higher self-consciousness known as Adronis. For more information or to book a service appointment with Brad Johnson, visit his website at www.consciousmatrix.com. That's www.consciousmatrix.com.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome back to the Imagine More Success radio show, where we just heard in our previous segment from Sharón Lynn Wyeth, who is the founder of the knowthename.com website and the founder and creator of Neimology Science. Cindy, was that a fascinating interview or what?
You know, I just find her to be extraordinary, and the work she put into creating this, amazing.
You know, when you think about how much dedication it takes to put 18 years of your life into something, to create something, it's really pretty magical. And it really says a lot about how important this work is to her. And it also says how important this work is to the world in general. It's fascinating and extraordinarily helpful.
Well, and it's like having a little crystal ball in your fingertips so that you can find out what you need to about the people in your life or the words in your business or life. I think it's just cool. And I got to tell you, I have her book, so I'm all over that.
And this is the beautiful thing, is that it's actually a scientific crystal ball. So you don't have to develop the skills of intuition in order to have access to an extraordinarily powerful level of intuition. You can actually utilize her science of Neimology in order to really have a leg up on the competition when it comes to understanding how you interact with other people.
Exactly. Well, as I mentioned on our break, I had a fascinating revelation. So I'll be looking into that a little bit closer and looking it up in the book.
Yeah, I'm just very interested in hearing from other people as well who have worked with Sharón in the past, not only how accurate her science is and how shocking it is, but how much it has helped them and how much time and effort it has saved them. Because when it comes to creating relationships and building relationships, you don't often know where those relationships are going to go, especially if they go in a negative direction, until months or sometimes even years have passed.
Isn't that the truth? So
I mean,
any kind of help we can get. Yes, any kind of help we can get would be very good to be able to check it out before you get to that negative spot.
Absolutely saves a lot of time, a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, and can give you a significant one-up on your competition, especially in business. So I think that the business implications of it are really incredible. And Cindy, we've heard from some of her clients who have worked with her in business, and the way she's able to help their HR department and also their branding department and their marketing department's been outstanding.
Well, and if a company really is struggling with their people, and people are the drivers of any business, then they definitely would want to connect with her because the savings would be incredible.
Yes. And there's something I want to talk to today, actually, which is the idea of trusting the experts and trusting the process. And this is something that I find that I've sometimes have problems with new clients, is that if they don't completely trust the process, or if I don't get a complete buy-in, then they don't necessarily trust the expert right away. And sometimes it's my job, obviously, to get them to do that. But how important is that when you hire someone to do something for you, that you actually do what they tell you to do?
Well, I have to share a quick story in my career, is that I wanted to be a business consultant early on, and I decided I was going to get all kinds of experience. So I had my own little bag of tricks as I was working.
Hmm.
And after all those years of working with all these different companies, I decided maybe I don't want to be a business consultant, because even when you're the best in the company at doing something and the top people in the business won't take the direction that you're giving them that would improve the company, then why would I want to do that for a living?
It's a good question, actually. This would have been a great time to have had Sharon's help, but unfortunately, probably did not know her at that point.
Exactly.
You know what? That's very true. It is very difficult to really set ego aside and also to set preconceived ideas aside so that you can be open to new information. And it is so very important to be able to align what your vision and your dream is for your business and for your life, to be able to align that with the information and the knowledge from people who have already been where you want to go.
Well, and what I ended up doing was, instead of becoming a consultant when I came in off the management road, was to own my own brick and mortar business, which, I love beauty and everything that's about. So I opened a spa. And of course, I love skincare and making sure that your skin is as good as it can be. And so I did that for 10 years. And then I decided, I'm just going to jump in eyes wide open. And I worked in my business consulting and coaching business now for the last 10 years.
It's incredible. I mean, we were talking earlier in the first segment about the question, is success purely financial? And again, based upon our own definitions, not exactly. No, it's not just purely financial. There are all these other things surrounding it, especially that big five of life. And that's a prime example of you finding your success in a completely different genre, different venue. And how important was it to you to be able to do that?
Well, it was everything, because I cannot work in a place that I am not enjoying the work. I just never have been able to do that. And what I can also share is that, how many people do you know that they have a job that they're making a lot of money and they have the financial success, and they're miserable? How many people?
There, unfortunately, quite a few. And
Yeah.
The other thing that I've seen many times, and it would be really fascinating to find out if Sharon's Neimology Science could actually kind of uncode this or break this code for me. I've seen so many times that people work so very hard to have so much money and to have so much wealth, but at the same time, they're very reticent to actually spend some of the money on themselves to, one, maybe take care of their health, or to have pleasurable experiences, or to have a better relationship with the people in their family or their loved ones. And they utilize the wealth in such a way that it doesn't help the other parts of their life.
Well, I would say two things that I feel are factors. One, the money drives the self-esteem for them. And two, the money, they have a fear around not having enough.
Yes, I have seen that as well.
Mm-hmm. And so, they might need some coaching or maybe even some therapy, because that is not a healthy way to live. I mean, life is meant to be lived and in search of the things that make you happy.
Well, I will tell you this as well, that once someone has achieved a level of success, financially speaking, where they are a very high net worth individual, it is often very difficult for them to take advice from anyone else about anything else. And I see this very often. If I see a person who is very successful in their field, or they have learned everything that there is to know, or that they think there is to know about their field, they assume that they have that same level of knowledge and proficiency in everything else. And that's not actually the case.
Well, here's the rub on that one, Thomas, is that we don't know what we don't know. And so the only way you're going to figure out what you don't know that you need to know is to work with someone else who can see those blind spots for you, because everybody's in that same you don't know what you don't know boat.
Yes, and it's so difficult. You can't see what's in the picture when you're inside the frame.
Nope. You
And
cannot.
so having that outside confirmation of what is and confirmation of what isn't and outside perspective is invaluable. And that again is that idea of, I found an expert and I can trust this person. This expert has a process. Allow me to trust this process so that I can get a result that they are guaranteeing based upon what they know will happen when you follow their advice.
Well, the other side of that is, Thomas, that not everybody is coachable. Because if someone can't, like the people you described, allow someone to share information with them that they can, chew on, get a hold of, believe, trust, then they're just wasting their money if they're out in search of.
Yes, I agree 100%. And I just want to challenge you today. Ask yourself, is success purely financial? And ask yourself, am I successful in my health? Am I successful in my spirituality? Am I successful in love? Am I successful in money? And am I successful in career?
And the bottom line is, what do you really want? Because when you can answer that question, then you can take a look at the big five and figure out where to work. Where do you need to focus?
Absolutely. What do you really want is, again, a question that Cindy and I throw back and forth all the time between each other as well as with our clients. And it's definitely something that we're going to touch on in our next show, because there is actually a set of processes that you can use to really get to the bottom of what it is that you want. But I would just want to challenge you between this show and the next to start to ask yourself that very same question and to sit with it and give yourself the opportunity to answer that question as honestly as you possibly can, and just see what happens. Don't put any judgment on your answer. Just let your answer come out and come from you, and see where it takes you.
And have no fear. No fear.
No fear whatsoever. That is a huge part of our show as well. We just want to thank you so very much for joining us today. We were very fortunate to have Sharón Lynn Wyeth on with us. You can check her out at knowthename.com. That's KNOWTHENAME.com. You can learn all about her Neimology Science. And you can please come back and listen to us again, because we're going to have another fantastic show for you next week. We've got a very fun guest coming on. We've got Meredith Allen Gordon, who is a fantastic guest for us. She's going to bring a lot of information and entertainment. And we just want to remind you to always realize your dreams and to imagine more success. We hope to see you next week.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Linnea Starr began to demonstrate a metaphysical connection to the spirit world as a little girl. Her family noticed the connection, but it was a great-grandmother who told the family that Linnea was indeed gifted. The great-grandmother, who was also gifted, felt that Linnea had indeed inherited these attributes. It has been noticed that oftentimes such things are passed down through the generations. Linnea was also born with a caul, a thin white membrane across the newborn's face. Legend has it that if the baby is born with this caul, the child will have second sight, or what we call psychic abilities. Linnea's star does past, present, and future, and has the gift of prophecy. It is written within scriptures that if you are able to give factual information and prophecies indeed come true, the gift in TAR.com.